Coming up, Stickball. Played hundreds of years ago as a way to settle disputes. And still played today, but for different reasons. Plus, named one of 5 Cherokee women who changed the world.
We didn't know we were breaking such new ground.
We go back in time with Winnie Guess Perdue, one of the first female fancy dancers on the powwow circuit, and the breathtaking sculptures of Cherokee artist Troy Jackson. How he uses steel and clay against each other to create fine art.
The Cherokees.
A thriving American Indian tribe.
Our history.
Our culture. Our people.
Our future.
The principles of a historic nation.
Sewn into the fabric of a modern world.
Hundreds of thousands strong. Learning, growing,
Succeeding.
And steadfast.
In the past, we have persevered through struggle.
but the future is ours to write.
Osiyo.
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 These are the voices of the Cherokee people.
Osiyo, I'm Principal Chief Bill John Baker. Welcome to the Cherokee Nation and OsiyoTV. This is how we share our culture, our heritage, our history, and our language with you. Wado.
Osiyo, it's how we say hello in Cherokee. I'm your host, Jennifer Lauren, at Diligua, a Cherokee village set in the year 1710. Cherokee people have been playing the game of stickball for centuries. It's a rough, full-contact sport, and as Cherokee Nation citizen Cole Hogner tells us, though the game has evolved, it's still a favorite pastime for many Cherokee people.
Stickball in Cherokee, we say Ani Jodi, little brother of war. My name's Cole Hogner. I belong to Chota Ceremonial Grounds. Born and raised here in Tahlequah, Oklahoma. In ancient times, stickball, it was used as a deference to going to war. Tribes, clans fighting over something like hunting, fishing rights. They would try to settle that dispute over a game of stickball. Like I said, it was a war game. People died playing this game. The way that the game was set up, set of goals, opposite ends of a field, could be small as a football-sized field, 100 yards, thereabouts. Could be miles long, village to village. 50, 100 men, 1,000 men or more chasing after this one little ball about that size. Fast forward hundreds and hundreds of years, we developed what has become known as a social game. It's a pole game. Object of this game is take that ball, score points, hit the top of that pole behind me. It's not about muscle. There's a technique to getting that ball up in the air and getting it to where you want it to be. Just like anything, takes practice. This pole game women do play are most times men versus women. But for the most part, it's always men on one side, women on the other. There's some strategy playing this game. The men have more rules as far as this game goes than the women do. Like I said, can't touch that ball with your hands. Got to use your sticks, transport it and score. The women, on the other hand, have no rules. They can do whatever they need to do to get that ball from the men. And that includes maybe pulling hair, getting them in a headlock, kind of bulldogging them, taking them down. Our sticks, these right here, Cherokee-style sticks. Every tribe that play this game, which just about every tribe east of Mississippi, our homelands, before removal, before tribes migrated out west a ways, you could tell which tribe sticks you had by the way they were made, the way they looked, the webbing, even the ball. This little ball, it looks like a rough sketch of a baseball in today's time, softball. That was a Cherokee-style ball. First learned ball stick making, I was about 16 years old, high school, 10th grade or so. I used to make the ball sticks right there at the grounds. There's several styles of pairs to make, Cherokee style and of course other tribal styles, but even the Cherokees got 2 or 3 different styles that are unique to us. Any type of hardwood would work for these sticks. I like using bow dark. A lot of people like hickory. Made similar to the ways our bows were. Sinew is what a lot of people use for your string. Lacrosse originated from this ancient game of stickball. Really, if you look at it, most sports that's structured the same way, anything that's got a goal on opposite ends of the field came from our ancient sport. In Cherokee culture, right now we're kind of working on trying to build more membership at the grounds, get more people interested. These grounds are hurting. Every year, less and less people are coming out. Our elders that carry the stories, carry the songs, they're dying out and taking it with them. And I think a large part of that was due to, like the boarding schools, the assimilation, they were taught not to care, that it's not as important as it should be.
Go!
Drop it. We often say that we're perpetuating the culture. Every year we're trying to get more and more kids involved, more and more kids to take this serious, at our grounds. We lose our languages, we lose our ways, and what good are we as a tribe? So it's very important to me, for not only me, the history, the future of our tribe, to carry on these ways, so we don't die out. And it's something that people that haven't experienced it won't understand. Stickball brings our people together, our communities. Any given day, like I said, put out the word, we're gonna play stickball on this day. People will work their schedules around that. They look for a reason to come out here and play, but the community as a whole, it's just one big family. Proud to be Cherokee, proud to be a ceremonial person. We got little kids looking up to us, whether we know it or not. They're carrying around their sticks, they're mimicking what we're doing. So eventually, after our time is gone, we're gonna be able to turn that responsibility over to them to carry it on for their kids and their generations to come. We're laying the groundwork for the future.
Winnie Guess Perdue is a Cherokee elder with a fascinating life story. She broke ground as one of the first female fancy dancers on the nationwide powwow circuit. She's won medals at the Senior Olympic Games and was named one of the 5 Cherokee women who changed the world.
As a young girl, I was very interested in ballet, and I began to take ballet and tap dance when I was about 9, and suddenly I was like the ballerina of Muskogee, I guess you'd say. And then I was captivated by Plains Indian dances. It was so athletic and so incredibly beautiful and unlike anything I had ever seen before, and I knew that I had to learn to do it. I got married and raised 2 daughters, and many of my friends would be a little bit sensitive to be called an elder. But in the Cherokee Nation and in our tradition, it is really an honor. I'm 80, and I'm happy and proud to be. And I also have in my DNA the spirit of happiness. I can't get away from it. I come from a long line of Oklahomans. I am a descendant of Sequoia. My daddy was pureblood Cherokee. I thought everybody cooked squirrel out in the backyard, you know. I thought everybody had wild onion dinner. It was who I was. It was what I was. I never had to become that. From the time that I could remember anything, that was what I was. Bacone College is in Muskogee, and their Indian club performed before me on a program. I love that drum. I love that song, all the songs. And then Jack Q, who was the specialty dancer for the club, he and his partner, Garcia, they did the Eagle Dance, and you do it in twos. And it was so beautiful, and it depicts, you know, the Creator's word to us on the wings of an eagle. And I truly was blessed to be standing backstage there. And once I saw those dances, I knew I wanted to try them. What I didn't realize was they were Plains Indians and I was Cherokee. Those were not my traditional dances. We do stomp dancing and that kind of thing. Also, I was a female. And I didn't realize that all the guys in that Indian club that I saw dancing were men. Those are Plains Indian tradition dances. And I will tell you that there is a delicate balance between all Indian nations and tribes. Our languages are different, our traditions are different, our backgrounds and life experience are completely different. And I think that there would be people that might, you know, feel that I should have never done those dances, you know, and I recognize that and I value their opinion. But I have done it always with my heart in the right place, valuing and treasuring everything of it. And my body just wanted to have a spiritual awakening, I will tell you, to do traditional Indian dancing. So my parents contacted Bacone, and after a series of several phone calls, we finally convinced Jack Q Pureblood Kiowa to teach me. He finally disclosed to me that he never dreamed that I could accomplish the dancing anyway. Once I did learn it, then he was a little bit proud of me, I think, and so we danced everywhere together. Oh, and when I traveled with Bacone College to New York City, we had a wonderful experience there. I got to dance on the stage of the Ed Sullivan Show. So it has played a huge role in my life. Every one of these dances has its own song. Hey, yeah, hey, yeah, hey, yeah, hey, yeah. That's hoop dance song. The hoop dance is probably the most intricate of the dances. During all those contests and during all those powwows and expositions, there were only 3 or 4 females that were dancing at that time. We didn't know we were breaking such new ground, or certainly I was, being a Cherokee, because all the others were Plains tribes. So it's been a wonderful, wonderful life for me. It's all I've ever known. It's what I've experienced my whole life. I think that our goals are what they are always, and we just need to keep working toward that. And my husband was a tennis player, a lifetime tennis player, and he and I began to participate in the senior games. You know, race walk is something very, very interesting. As a child, I would see that at the true Olympic Games and think, oh my goodness, that is so peculiar, you know, because you're swinging your arms and you're swinging your hips a little bit, and there's a rhythm to it that you have to maintain. And race walk now is just my favorite thing because it's so low impact and something that you can do forever. Every day of the world, when I wake up, I go, I choose to be what I am, and I choose to be happy. I choose to have a goal today. It might be very insignificant: plant a flower, visit a neighbor, walk around the block just for fun. I choose to be happy. And everyone has that capacity. I feel like that it's very important that we do it and that we share these stories and we share our life's experiences and we make everyone recognize that they have the ability to do anything. We limit ourselves only when we limit ourselves.
Following the admission of Oklahoma to the Union, the United States government continued the devastating and failed era of termination, seeking to weaken the sovereignty of Indian tribes in Oklahoma. The United States resisted the continuance of the government-to-government relationship that it had shared with the Cherokee Nation for decades. The U.S. limited their governmental interaction with tribes, but if it needed a Cherokee representative to sign land deeds or other legal agreements, the President of the United States would appoint a chief of the Cherokee Nation. These appointments would usually last for only one day, gleaning them the nickname Chief for a Day. Jesse Bartley, or J.B. Milam, was one such appointed chief. However, he was the first to serve as a presidential appointee more than once. Born in 1884, Milam lived in the Cooey district of the Cherokee Nation in Indian Territory. Milam attended the Cherokee Male Seminary and became an accomplished banker and oilman. His first foray into tribal politics began in 1938 as a group of 300 Cherokees met in a national council to discuss matters relating to them as a people. Here, a committee representing the 9 districts of the Cherokee Nation elected J.B. Milam as chairman of the council. In this position, Milam began to pursue land claims related to the flooding of Cherokee land as government agencies were creating Grand Lake. Soon, the federal government recognized the need to appoint another chief of the Cherokees to represent the tribe in these land claims. And in 1941, President Franklin Roosevelt named J.B. Milam to a 1-year appointment as principal chief of the Cherokees. Milam took advantage of this assignment and used his position to pursue additional land claims. He fought to recover land taken from Cherokees to build Camp Gruber near Braggs, Oklahoma during World War II. He also began purchasing land for the Cherokee Nation and over time bought more than 21,000 acres for the tribe. J.B. Milam was appointed to serve 3 more times by Presidents Roosevelt and Harry S. Truman. During that time, he worked to unite all Native people to build strength and power even though their governments had been weakened. And so, Milam was a founding member of what is now the longest-standing intertribal organization, the National Congress of American Indians. J.B. Milam also championed the study of Cherokee heritage and culture, personally funding scholarly pursuits of Cherokee history. In fact, he fronted half the cost of an expedition to Mexico, searching for the grave of Cherokee statesman Sequoyah. These documents show Milam's personal notes on the topic. Milam was also instrumental in revitalizing the instruction of the Cherokee language in area schools and colleges, and it was his idea to buy the site of the original Cherokee Female Seminary and build a Cherokee Heritage Center there. Over the years, Milam recovered various artifacts and items of Cherokee historical significance from the federal government and secured them for future generations. Milam amassed such an astounding personal library of Cherokee and Native American papers and books that today it makes up a significant portion of the University of Tulsa McFarland Library's Native American collection. J.B. Milam died in 1949 while still in office. At his death, the Cherokee Nation had been weakened by the decades of failed federal policies dealing with Indian tribes. However, the passage of the Indian Self-Determination Act in the 1970s revived the recognition of sovereign status of tribal governments and the revitalization of the modern Cherokee Nation. It's a nation shaped in many ways by the work of Chief J.B. Milam.
Let's talk Cherokee.
The Cherokee syllabary is the writing system invented by Sequoyah. Each character represents a syllable in the Cherokee language. In this syllabary chart, the top row contains the 6 vowel sounds. The subsequent rows include the consonant sounds.
Rope. Tieda.
Stieda.
Saw.
Saw.
Geese. Sasa.
Sasa.
Se.
Se.
Corn. Selu.
Selu.
Si.
Si.
Pig. Sequoia.
Sequa.
Soul.
Soul.
Hickory nut. Sohi.
Sohi.
Sue.
Sue.
Buzzard. Suli.
Suli.
Sa.
Sa.
Apple. Sukta.
Sakta.
The girl baked an apple pie. Sukta.
Sakta.
Geliski.
Geliski.
Uwadunai.
Uwadunai.
Agehuja.
Agehuja.
Troy Jackson was named a Cherokee National Treasure for his work as a contemporary sculptor. His unique style has won him countless awards at art shows across the country. Although he's a well-established artist, Troy tells us that right now he's having the time of his life.
Everything that I do is something that I've seen. You see, I don't ever look at myself as being someone who created anything. I'm a discoverer, I'm a learner. My name is Troy Jackson. I am an artist and I do sculpture, and I'm currently working with clay and steel. I was born and raised right here at Tahlequah. We lived at a house that my dad had built. My dad was very practical, but he liked to do the work himself so he could save money. I think a lot of that, you know, it fell over on me, the practicality of things. But I'd been drawing back as far back as I can remember, first grade. I mean, I knew at that time that I was going to be an artist. I focused on that every day, and my dad was supportive. But my mother was the one that, you know, she would push you into doing something. And so I got a little bit of both, but all through high school, I couldn't wait to get into college and, you know, start my career. To be honest with you, I was never interested in native art until I started my associate's degree at Baycombe. It's really funny because I wasn't very interested in sculpture. Paintings, that's what I wanted to be, was a painter. I graduated and I finished my bachelor's degree at Northeastern in Fine Arts. And I think that's where I started thinking more of conceptual ideas. The next thing I know, I'm out of school and I need to sell something. So that's when I'm sitting around, I take a piece of clay and I make a small Indian or a statue and I set it on a piece of pottery. And lo and behold, things started happening for me. That's how it transferred from painting to pottery and then to sculpture. Right now, at this point, I'm using steel and clay. I choose the two because they're so opposite to each other. They actually don't like each other. They're unforgiving. But I think once I put them together, they contrast with each other and they complement at the same time. There's 4 aspects to sculpture. There is manipulation, there's addition, subtraction, and molding. And so that's what I incorporate every one of those aspects of sculpture into each one of these. I like to create my own designs because I think that's what my ancestors did. They had some that they all knew what they meant, but for the most part, I think we create our own. I've always been interested in in our ancestors' beliefs of a creator and their belief in prayer and how they associated that with their culture, how it developed into today's culture. And so that's what this piece is about. The text here is Cherokee, and it in English, in Cherokee it is adadolisti, and in English it means the prayer. And I think another thing for that into my culture, I think that prayer is very valuable. For me, it helps to keep me focused. Being self-employed, being an artist, you have to keep focused and not let distractions keep you down, because, man, you just get distracted all the time. But I use prayer to bring me back to that center. One of the greatest attribute that a man can have is humility. And I would like for people to see that in me. And I hope they see that in my artwork. I don't know, I just like the quietness of them. Sometimes it's just, it's hard to go back and think that things that I wanted to do just came to pass. And I tell everybody, everybody says, well, how does it feel to be old? Or, you're getting old. And I'm like, man, I love it. But I just, for some reason, being the age that I am now, is just having a great time. And I get to look back and see, what happened through my life and my children's lives, and, get to see who they become. And it's just a great story.
We hope you enjoyed our show, and remember, you can watch anytime online at Osiyo.tv. There is no Cherokee word for goodbye because we know we'll see you again. We say, Dodadago ha'i. Wado.